Hello and welcome to our very first lecture for appreciating music. Glad you're here today. Before we get started, I would like you to go into D2L content under Unit 1 and open up the Unit 1 playlist. So I think I can probably show you where this is. If you go to content, let me find my way there. And then you're in, if you go to, you can scroll down or just go to Unit 1 Fundamentals Resources Needed. And then you'll see the playlist right here. So open that up. There's links to YouTube videos, and we will need half of those for this lecture and then the other half for the next lecture in Unit 1. Okay, so we have a lot of objectives to reach in this unit. We're going to be able to identify meter and music examples. We'll also learn about tempo and the Italian terms that describe how fast music is going. We will learn about tone color and the 4 instrument families. You will hopefully correctly identify scale types and understand the difference between diatonic and chromatic major and minor scales. You will be learning about musical texture and identifying texture in music. And then we'll also learn principles of form. So we'll do the first 3 in this lecture and then the last 3 in the next lecture. When we get to listening examples in your playlist, feel free to just pause this video, go out to YouTube, do your listening, and then you can just come back and then hit play again here. So let's talk about music and mood. Think about what makes music sound happy and upbeat and what makes it sound sad or just really chill. What types of music do you listen to when you need something to pep you up, to get you energized? Or maybe you're in a really, you're in a funk and you need something to help you feel happier. What do you listen to when you need to calm down and just relax and rest or sleep or study? Right? So there's a lot of different factors that play here. Go ahead and listen to playlist number 1, Supermarket Flowers by Ed Sheeran. And then also listen to number 2, Real Gone by Sheryl Crow. And I would like you to describe the mood of each of these songs and the emotions in the music and how the music makes you feel as a result. So go ahead and pause here, and then we will talk a bit about these when you come back. So hopefully you've listened to those by now and noticed a few things. Supermarket Flowers is a little bit softer, right? It also uses acoustic instruments. There's quiet piano accompaniment and then vocals. It's not very fast, and the rhythmic feel is very laid back. Okay. Real Gone is more loud. The beat is really driving, and there's a lot of rhythm because of the guitars and the drums. All right, so hopefully you've analyzed how this music made you feel. Perhaps the first one made you feel a little bit sad, maybe nostalgic, a little bit calm. It might have even brought up memories that you have, and that might have contributed to how you feel. Real Gone might have made you feel more excited. Maybe it made you want to take a drive, to travel, to go somewhere. So music is very powerful in its ability to sometimes just open up our emotions. It might not create them, but it can uncover them. I think it's capable of doing that. But why? Like, what are all these different things we're talking about with, soft and loud and rhythm? What are all these different things? Well, let's find out. Duration is the length of sound or silence in music. And something that we don't always fully realize is that silence in music is just as important as sound. You can have long sounds, you can have really short sounds that are more little pricks of sound, and the same thing applies to silence. The beat in music is a regular pulse or heartbeat. This is what you would be clapping along to if you were listening to music and then you started clapping, right? You're finding and clapping to the steady, regular beat. All right? So we're going to listen to playlist number 3, at least part of this, 1 to 2 minutes. And you'll notice that there are actually parts in this piece where the audience is invited by the conductor to clap to the beat. So you can clap along, try to feel that steady pulse, and then come back here. Okay, so that was the Radetzky March. Very exciting. So you just clapped the beat. Now there are types of music that do not have a consistent beat. This would be non-metrical music, and we'll study this further in the next unit. Something for you to consider, does happier music use long or short durations, and why do you think that is? What did you hear most in the Radetzky March? Okay, now we can talk about tempo. Tempo just means time, so it's referring to the rate of speed for the beats in music. So you can have a really fast beat, right? When you're running, your heart rate goes up, and so your heartbeat is really fast. But you can also have a really slow beat where your clapping is spaced much further apart. So this would be a slower tempo. Your heart rate is going to slow down if you're just sitting, at your desk watching this video. Hopefully this is not anxiety producing for you. So we have Italian terms to define general tempos and moods in music. And you will need to know all of these and be able to put them in order from slowest to fastest, which is the order they are shown in here. Largo means very slow. Andante is a little bit faster, but it's still a slow walking tempo. Moderato is moderate. It's right there in the middle, even keeled. Allegro is fast and lively. Presto is very fast. So I'm going to show you pictures, and you're going to try to name one of these tempos that fits the speed of the object or person in each picture. And sometimes there's more than one right answer. So this is kind of, because it is very general, it's these tempos can be not quite so specific. So what about a race car? I would say probably presto, because the race car is very fast. What about a little turtle trying to make it across the lawn? Could be largo, maybe andante. Turtle's pretty slow usually. What about a dog running? Maybe moderato or allegro. People walking down the street. Probably andante, because andante is a walking tempo. A racehorse. Probably allegro or presto, depending on how you see it. Okay. So those are tempos. Next, we have accents and meter. When you listen to music and you're clapping, you might notice that some beats seem stronger than others. And this is true. A lot of music has strong and weak beats that repeat in a pattern. And each repetition of this pattern is called a measure or a bar of music. So there are 2 really common patterns that we're going to learn. Duple meter has 2 beats in a measure, and it's closely related to quadruple meter, which is 4 beats in a measure. So for the purpose of this class, we're going to kind of lump duple and quadruple into one category and call both of them duple. You can be more specific though if you like. So duple meter is a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Strong, weak, strong, weak, strong, weak pattern. And it can be fast or it can be slow, but there's always those 2 beats where you hear that pattern. If you can say the word kiwi to the beat, then you probably are in duple meter. Kiwi, 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 kiwi. If you're in triple meter, you're going to feel 3 beats in a measure with the pattern strong, weak, weak, strong, weak, weak, strong, weak, weak. If you can say cantaloupe, then and it fits the beat pattern, you probably are in triple meter. Cantaloupe, cantaloupe, cantaloupe. So go ahead, listen to playlists number 4 and 5, and I would like you to try to find the meter. You can listen to just a couple minutes of each, clap along, find the beat, and then try to find the pattern of strong and weak beats. Number 4 is So She Dances by Josh Groban. Listen especially to the piano when he starts singing. That'll help you find the beat. And I think Remember Me is maybe more straightforward, so you'll probably do just fine on both of these. And then when we come back, I'll tell you what the answers are. Okay, so She Dances was triple meter. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The lyrics talk about a waltz, and a waltz is going to be in triple meter. It always has that feeling of 3. Remember Me is duple or quadruple meter. So there was a really 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 feel. So if you got those, awesome. If you did not, go back now that you know the answers, listen again, and see if you can really lock into the meter. That brings us to pitch and dynamics. So these are probably the easiest ones to really hear and understand. Pitch is the highness or lowness of a tone. Every voice and instrument has a specific pitch range. So like their lowest notes that they can easily sing or play, and the highest notes they can easily sing or play. For voices, there are 4 primary types. You can have soprano, alto, tenor, or bass, and a choir. So soprano, high female voices, alto or lower female voices, tenor is the higher male voice, bass the lower register male voice. Dynamics refers to the volume of sound, the decibels, right? So forte means loud, piano means soft. These are more Italian words. And we can use these to refer to how loud it is, how much volume. So forte, lots of sound, piano, much more quiet. Crescendo means gradually growing louder, and decrescendo is gradually growing softer. So if I start talking like this, and then I slowly start to get louder and louder and louder, we have a crescendo. Or we can do the opposite and start loud, and then we can gradually get softer and softer and softer. And that would be a decrescendo. On the keyboard, as you go to the right, you're going higher towards the higher pitches. As you go to the left on the keyboard, you are going towards the lower pitches. All right, this is a good definition that you should be familiar with. What is tone color? It's the character or quality of a musical sound or voice as distinct from its pitch and intensity. So tone color is not pitch. It's not how high or how low we are, and it's not how loud or how soft we are. It is describing the sound. And tone color is really based on what kind of object is being used to create the sound. and how is the sound being produced? All right, so this brings us to a discussion on instrument families. There are 4 that we're going to learn. The first is the string family, and this includes violin, viola, cello, and bass. And that's we go in that order from the instruments with the highest pitch range to lowest pitch range. So these instruments, they all have strings, of course, and bows that are drawn across the strings to produce a sound. You also have guitar in this family and harp. Those 2 instruments have strings that are plucked with picks or fingertips. And these other violins, violas, these also can be plucked as well. That effect is called pizzicato. So go ahead and listen to playlist number 6. This is a beautiful, rather somber piece called Adagio for Strings by Samuel Barber. So see if you can identify any of these stringed instruments. How many of them can you name? And which one sounds the highest in pitch? Which one sounds the lowest? You can also think about tempo. Which of those Italian tempo designations fits this piece? And go ahead and listen to a couple minutes of this and then come back. Okay, so that was the string family. Next, we have the woodwind family. This includes flute, clarinet, oboe, bassoon, and sometimes piccolo. So woodwind instruments have at least one wooden reed in the mouthpiece, or that really is the mouthpiece, and you're blowing air between either 2 pieces of wood or between the reed and the mouthpiece. And that creates vibrations between those 2 pieces, and then the sound vibrations are manipulated inside the instrument with, keys and things like that. So we're going to listen to Jupiter from the Planets. So this arrangement is for a woodwind quintet. You can kind of ignore the horn on the far right in this video because the horn is not a woodwind, even though it is usually part of a woodwind quintet. So from left to right, you will see flute, oboe, clarinet, bassoon, and the non-woodwind horn on the very end. Okay, so woodwinds have often a very warm sound. Next is the brass family. This includes, I should have ordered these differently, trumpet, horn, trombone, tuba, and there are others, but those are the 4 most common. Brass instruments have a metal mouthpiece, and when you blow air into the instrument, it creates vibrations between the player's lips and the brass piece. And then, of course, those vibrations travel through all of the winding, twisting metal that's part of the instrument as well. And there are, I'm probably going to use the wrong word here, but levers, keys, valves, that's the one. Valves that you're moving with your fingers and hands to change pitch and things like that. So listen to number 8 on your playlist, Fanfare for the Common Man by Aaron Copland. You're going to hear the trumpets. There's a lot of percussion in this as well, but you'll hear trumpets come in first. Then they're joined by the horns, and then the trombones and tuba. And finally, we have the percussion family. Go ahead and listen to number 9, Stained Glass. See how many of these instruments you can hear and identify. And there's a lot of them. This list here is not even complete. But a few that you will notice are timpani, snare drum, triangle, xylophone, and a gong. So there are more. See how many you might be able to pick out and be thinking about how would you describe these sounds? What tone colors are you hearing? Are they bright? Are they rough or smooth? See how you would describe them. That brings us to the end of this lecture. So there's going to be one more lecture in Unit 1 that will cover our other topics.